This is a request video. One of my subscribers asked an interesting question. It said, is it possible to hook up an external subwoofer with the PartyBox 110? And I wrote back, good question, I'm not sure. So this video, let's try it together. I've never done this before, not sure. I do have a collection of cables, so I plug something in. We'll see if it works. Anyway, a little history about the PartyBox 110, which I've done a number of videos about. You should go back and check them out if you're possibly purchasing. $399. The price has pretty much been stable for a while. It's they updated the app recently, which made it better. They've added some mid control, completely battery operated, fairly lightweight. I don't know if you call that size small or large. It's up to you. 23 pounds. It's pretty manageable. So personally, I had to make the decision between the 110 and the 310. And I was going back and forth, and what sold me on the 110 was the weight and the size. The 310 is just that much larger. It's 39 pounds for the 310, and this is 23 pounds. So 16 pounds difference is considerable, and it's more than what I want to carry for a personal portable PA. So that was my deciding factor. After purchasing it, I realized the difference, and that is the JBL PartyBox 110. It's, I don't know, they call it a party box, but you better have just a couple of people because it doesn't get super loud. It's a great speaker for a bedroom, small space. It's really good full range sound, very clean sound, up to 20 hertz, but it just doesn't get much louder. I would say maybe 90, a little more than 90 dB, less than 95. And that's not really what I consider a party speaker. Definitely not outdoors. It'll just get lost outdoors. So that's, if you need volume, you need to go to the 310. Obviously the 310 is a larger speaker or a larger woofer, so it also gets a much better bass. So I did this little experiment. Can I add an external subwoofer like that person asked? And could I get as good bass as the 310 or maybe better? So that's what this is all about. So the subwoofer at hand that I'm discussing is called the KRK 10S. The model has been upgraded since I purchased it. Same price, which is right now $430. It can go up to 117 dB, so it's really a powerhouse for its size. 35 pounds only. One of the drawbacks is it doesn't have handles, though. It's not a PA sub where it's expected to be moved around from venue to venue. This is a studio sub expected to stay in one spot. So 35 pounds is pretty manageable, but it's a little hard without the handles. It's 160 watts, but I don't really go by watts, I go by dB, and its max dB is 117 dB. So let me tell you, that's pretty loud. It's louder than the S1 Pro, so it makes a great matchup with the S1 Pro. I've done a video on that matchup, and it's considerably louder than the top that we're looking at, the JBL 110. So it's really a good matchup, and like I said, it's a studio sub, so it's tuned differently. It goes down to 27 hertz, where your normal PA sub rolls off at about 40. And let's see, I'm looking at my specs here. Yeah, the JBL 310 goes down to 45 hertz. So this goes down considerably lower. You're gonna hear frequencies. I'm thinking of a kick drum, tracks with kick drum, synthesizer, electronic music. That kind of music goes down below 40, goes down into your 20s, and this goes down to 27 hertz. Really impressive. And like I mentioned, it's loud. Now, is it louder than the 310? I cannot tell you. I'll bet money it is. I'll bet quite a bit of money, but I don't have a 310. I never purchased a 310. I never heard it personally. So I'm just going to go by specs, but I can guarantee, and almost any time you have a dedicated subwoofer, it's going to be louder than usually the column systems or what is built into your top, because the woofer on the 110 is doing double duty. It's doing mid-range and low end. So when you have a dedicated subwoofer, it's only tuned for the low end, and the engineers can really push the volume. I want to stress for my viewers who've seen my past videos, I have raved about another subwoofer called the PreSonus 8, which is an 8-inch subwoofer at a very reasonable price right now, $180. I did match this up with that, and it didn't make a huge difference because the 110, truthfully, has very, very good bass for a single speaker. But if you want to go to the next level, I'm going to suggest at least a 10-inch woofer. And you don't have to go with KRK. I saw some other subwoofers in this price range. There's an Atom Audio 10-inch for $400. There's the JBL. They have a subwoofer for $330, a little cheaper than this one, and this is $430. So I wouldn't recommend going much higher. You don't need a 12-inch subwoofer. You're just going to overpower the top. So 10-inch subwoofer is really the sweet spot. Again, I don't recommend an 8-inch subwoofer because the top on the 110 is pretty good the way it is out of the box. One thing I like about studio subwoofers that a live PA subwoofer or a home subwoofer doesn't have, and that is they have a bypass foot switch ability. So here I bought a Fender guitar switch. It's you can get it on Amazon for it's about $20, very reasonable. And it has a nice long cord. You can sit back, and there it is. And then from that foot switch, you can engage the subwoofer or you can mute it. So studio producers use that because they want to hear how the mix sounds with the sub and without instantaneously. So I really like doing it because some music maybe has too much bass, so you just want to cut the sub, and then you can dial in the top using that bypass switch. So I really like it. And again, for my past videos, I usually use a mixer for that purpose where my subs are aux fed, where I can control the sub from a separate gain control. But here it's on a foot switch, which is even faster. Okay, let's see if this works. I'll show you the cabling later if it works. If it doesn't work, there's no reason to show you the cabling, right? I'm gonna do a short demo, and I'm gonna warn you right now, demos with bass on YouTube really don't work. Sometimes if it's a drastic difference, you'll hear a difference. But when it's something like this, a 10-inch subwoofer compared to like an 18-inch subwoofer or a Bose Sub 2, something, it's sometimes hard to hear it through the microphone I'm using. And I'm gonna tell you, honestly, I'm using the least expensive microphone I could use, and that is my iPhone 13 microphone. I don't invest in high quality microphones, and people complain, and my comeback is I don't invest in material for YouTube videos. I invest in my gear because YouTube videos don't pay much if you really want to know the truth. Okay, so I'm gonna do a short demo, so I don't know if you'll hear it or not. I'm gonna be muting it with the foot switch, and I'll be unmuting it, and we'll see if we hear a difference. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this subwoofer is a huge difference from a normal PA top. That I know from experience. This is a powerful little unit. It'll surprise you. What do they call it? Like a small stick of dynamite. One more thing before the sound demo, and that is the subwoofer is being run on an external battery pack, so to keep the whole system mobile and battery operated. And I will show you that battery pack, very reasonably priced. It's called the Grant Maya at $180 on Amazon, 300 watts, and it runs this subwoofer with no problem. A little warning, if you have the Bose Sub 1, 300 watts won't cut it. You're gonna have to go up considerably more to run that kind of subwoofer. But that's in a $900 price range compared to $430. Okay, the track I'm gonna be using is non-copyrighted, so we don't have any problems with YouTube. And like I said, let's mute the subwoofer, engage it back and forth, and we'll see if we hear the difference. And we'll see if it works. Here we go. Houston, we have a problem. I just tried to demo the track before taping it, and the subwoofer shut down on me. Using that 300 watt Grant Maya, I guess I can't recommend that. I used that Grant Maya for my PreSonus 8-inch with no issue, and I had forgotten that this KRK is more power hungry, so it didn't work. Right now I'm plugged into AC, and we'll do the sound demo like that, but I am gonna try with my larger power unit, which is 600 watts. I'm sure there'll be no problem, but of course that's much pricier. That's in the almost $500 range. Another thing I forgot to mention on the mute bypass switch, there is a little light there you see in the lower corner. So right now it's bright. That means the subwoofer is engaged. And when I click it with my toe, so that's the subwoofer off. So when I play the track, keep your eye on that, off right now, and click it, and that's on, off, on. Okay, let's try this again. The demo. Houston, the eagle has landed. My friends, YouTube followers, that was pretty surprising. My jaw is still recovering. That subwoofer kicked in. I hope you heard it. It was night and day. No way the 310, it has that kind of bass. Just impossible. So again, I'm a betting man if anybody wants to make that bet. So this KRK is a real powerhouse. And the connections obviously worked. A couple of inexpensive cables. The subwoofer is not very heavy, again, 35 pounds. I have a little foam that I put between the speaker and the subwoofer, just so you wouldn't have any vibration. You know, that's the foam I got with the speaker. But let me show you what the proper way it should be up on a stand. Here we go, this is the proper setup. The other way was kind of demonstrating what it would look like in a small bedroom, something where you don't want to look like you have PA gear on a speaker stand, or in a dorm room for college students. But if you want to get your best fidelity, you want to get that top up at ear level. You want to get a little distance between the top and the subwoofer. The subwoofer is coupling from the floor, gives you that extra bass. And of course, you should know that if you want to get even more bass, you put the subwoofer in a corner or close to a wall. I'll give you a couple more free dBs. But you don't need that extra bass from the top, having it close to the bottom. So you get that nice and high up at ear level, and that's where your best fidelity. This speaker stand is pretty reasonable. I don't remember what I paid for it. Probably it's less than $50 though to get a nice heavy duty stand like this. So here are your connections. You need a cable 1/8 inch out from the augs out of the JBL PartyBox. Looks like that, your normal 1/8 cable from the augs out. And then you're going into the subwoofer, KRK 10S, the back, and that is dual XLR input into the sub. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, male, dual male cable. Very simple. There is my foot switch output, and that's it. KRK was only on 12 o'clock. You can't imagine the power of this little subwoofer. This is a pro subwoofer, okay? This is what they use in studios, and KRK, this particular subwoofer is known for really putting out a lot of sound pressure levels, dBs. They do make an 8-inch, but for the small amount of money and not much heavier, I went with the 10. And here is the proper external battery power pack. I recommend, if you want to go with all battery, mobile unit, and that is the EcoFlow Pro. I've recommended this in other videos, 600 watts. It's really powerful. It actually powers my sub too. So obviously it has no problem powering this subwoofer. A little under $500. I'll give the link if people are interested. EcoFlow Pro 600 watts. Okay, wrapping up this video. I want to thank the subscriber who gave me the idea. I would have never thought of doing this mix and match video, but it was definitely a success. And in retrospect, I can look back and I'm very glad I didn't go for the 310. This is plenty loud for me, for my purposes. If I need a louder speaker, then I get a proper PA speaker, something like a QSE CP8 if you want to get over 100 dB. But this has very, very nice fidelity. Almost, I can call it almost hi-fi fidelity in a small bedroom, small space. It's just not an outdoor speaker if you want to party, like they say, party box. But matching it up with a dedicated subwoofer in the $400 range, 10-inch, really transforms it. Really magical. I'm very impressed. There is my power source powering up after some heavy duty. And that's it. I can recommend this system. Of course, you're gonna have to spend a little money if you wanna go mobile for that power source, and you have to spend a little money to get the proper subwoofer. But if you do, this is an excellent combination. Hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it, this video. Later.